Hmm. Hey, welcome to Cooking with Squirrel. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make some drunk food. Let's get into it. So the backstory to this dish is, on May 15th, 2021, I sponsored an episode of the podcast Bottom of the Barrel. In celebration of the launch of my YouTube channel and sponsoring that episode, I had quite a few botanist gin on the rocks. As is usually the case, happy drunk time leads to late night cravings. My drunk cooking sessions usually end up with all kinds of random ingredients thrown together. In this case, I kind of smashed together some Indian flavors with toasted whole coriander and cumin, some Asian flavors with fish sauce, mirin, rice vinegar, and sesame oil. The recipe reads like a bit of a monstrosity, but trust me and give this a try. It was so good in my inebriated state that I had to remake it in the morning to check and be sure that I hadn't overhyped it. These eggs will be intensely savory with a hint of sweetness from the mirin and a soft but fully cooked texture from the addition of all the liquids. As you chew, you will get a crunchy texture and bursts of toasted seed flavors from the fried coriander and cumin. So, let's get our mise en place. Or, that might be a little fancy for drunk food, so let's get stuff ready to go. First thing we'll do is slice some scallions, trim the tops off here. Then we will thinly slice on a diagonal, aka bias. Using one of those. That is all for the cutting. Okay, let's get a little wipe down here. All right, next we will get our seeds ready. We're using whole coriander and whole cumin. And we will do a half teaspoon of each of those. Give or take. And we will set those aside. Now onto our eggs. 3 eggs. Cracked into a medium bowl. There we go. Put the trash to the side. Now for our liquids. Half teaspoon of fish sauce. This is really where a lot of the umami savoriness comes into this dish. You could go more if you wanted, absolutely. And then half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, or just a couple dashes really will do it. Also can go as much as you like there to taste. Always remember, every recipe is just a starting point to get to where you want to be. Teaspoon of rice vinegar, teaspoon of mirin. Mirin's going to add a little bit of sweetness to this. Not overtly, but it's a nice balance. And last for the liquids, half a teaspoon of sesame oil. And we're going to go in with a couple shakes of garlic powder. Again, you can adjust this. It's about 1/8 of a teaspoon, but just whatever works for you. And about the same of onion powder. Fresh cracked black pepper to taste. The fish sauce is pretty salty, but probably do want just a little more salt in this. I'm going to get a small pinch of salt. Let's whisk her up. So this isn't a binging with Babish tiny whisk, but it is a medium small whisk. All right, I'm going to whisk these without adding too much air to them. I'm not trying to whip them, but we do want this fairly homogeneous, with all the whites completely combined. All the liquids in this make it a little easier to get that done. It's pretty good to me. And now it's time to cook. And we'll get this all reset for cooking instead of prep. These angles are all experimental. If this doesn't work, we'll go with a different format next time. Let's start cooking. So we got about a tablespoon of olive oil. You can use any neutral oil. You can use olive oil. We're not going to heat this super hot so it won't burn off and get acrid. Get that in. We'll get that over medium heat. And then we will wait for it to come up to heat. All right, we got a little heat in our oil. Let's get our seeds in. Get a little bit of a sizzle. Let's get those moving around in a little bit of oil. We're looking to toast these pretty hard. We want to be really crunchy and really flavorful when we bite into them. Start to get a nice bit of sizzle on these. Keep them moving around a little bit. Okay, it's starting to get really fragrant, so I'm going to go ahead and go in with a tablespoon of butter. Get that melting down and frothing up. And you can brown the butter. You can go brown on the butter. You can get really dark brown butter if you want. You can just melt this in. I'm just going with the melted in flavor of whole butter. We've got so many roasty toasty nut flavors in here from the seeds already. We don't need to go super brown on the butter. And you can see our seeds are getting nice and brown. And I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go in with our eggs. And as soon as the eggs go in, we want to get them moving around. We don't want to, we want to create some curds. Keep the sides scraped down so you don't lose any of your eggs. I'm going to keep moving this. I don't want one big sheet, I want curds. And this will look really wet and loose, but it will firm up. Just give it a little time. You can make your curd size as big or as small as you like. I'm going to go kind of small on this one. And see how wet these look? They're not really forming up. Let's give it a little more time. And again, you could, if you like soft scrambled eggs, you could stop here. These are functionally done cooking. I'm pretty happy with that. They're still soft. They're tender, but they're not loose. So let's get this onto a plate. Now, if this is drunk food, you're pretty much good to go here. You can call it, and you can eat it as soon as it won't burn your mouth. However, for our purposes here today, we obviously already made some scallions, and we're gonna grab some sour cream. You could also use creme fraiche. You could use yogurt. Pretty much anything creamy would work. That's kind of a quenelle. And drop on our sliced scallions. Many or as little as you like. All right, let's get into it. Get some sour cream, some chives, bite of eggs. Simple, delicious. Hits all the flavor notes. So good. Give it a try, really. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing and tickling the bell to get notifications for all my new videos.